And the post-WrestleMania hangover is hitting hard right now. I don't know about you, Paul, but it's hitting me hard. The WWE is in that period post-WrestleMania where we're getting to Backlash and where they have AJ Styles now versus Cody Rhodes. I mean, we all know how that match is going to end. There's really no surprise to the WWE Championship match right now. And so...
but that's a symptom of just having a great Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. It's always a tiny lull while they restart everything. So it's right on.
It's always like this.
It's right on schedule.
This is nothing new. It's always like this. Luckily, this is the time of year we have NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. We got baseball, though. I mean, baseball is in a spot right now where they can't even keep a gambling scandal in the news with their biggest superstar of all time. So, I mean, I don't know how alive baseball is in people's lives, but I mean, we still pay attention to the Red Sox, but they're dealing with injuries. We're not going to get into baseball. Maybe at the end, there is one thing I think the league should do to improve the sport as a whole.
Okay. That's a good tease. In this
world where everybody wants the short form video, everybody wants things faster, quicker, immediately. I think there's some things baseball can do, Major League Baseball can do. We'll get into that maybe in the end of the show if I remember. There is a lot to talk about, even though this is the post-WrestleMania hangover. We'll even get into some of the other storylines here in the WWE briefly. Just a quick breakdown. I know we have a lot of wrestling fans that have subscribed to this channel, and if you have not already, make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn notifications on. And you should also subscribe to the UFO Wrestling YouTube channel, which is a new YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UFO Wrestling. You have to put that @ sign because there's no, if you just do youtube.com/UFO Wrestling, it's not going to get you to where you want to go. You have to put the @ sign for that. There's no custom link because it's a brand new YouTube channel. You got to wait a little bit to get verified. So it's youtube.com. We'll link it in the description below. But I was the special guest host. The reason I'm kind of opening with this was I was the special guest host for their event last weekend, the Donnybrook in Everett, Massachusetts. And I opened the show, Paul. You know, you saw me open the show.
I did.
And I was about to cut a promo and just introduce what was happening in the event. And then I got interrupted by the UFO champion, Bo Douglas. Bo knows. Interrupted me. The young lion, notorious PIC, Bo Douglas interrupted me. And I realized that he didn't have a match, which I thought was strange. And he didn't like that I called him out for not having a match, which I thought was even more strange. And so what ended up happening was I made a phone call to make sure that he had an opponent at the end of the night in the main event, and he was going to defend that title. And should we play a clip? We have a clip kind of queued up. It's a cut down version of what happened when Bo Douglas interrupted me and how this thing played out and who I called to face Bo Douglas. This was last weekend. That's why there was no show last weekend. This was UFO Wrestling's The Donnybrook. Here is a cut-up clip from the opening of the show in which the young lion, notorious PIC, introduced himself to the UFO wrestling world.
On this card here at the Donnybrook in Everett, Massachusetts. It's our main event. We didn't know what our main event was going to be until this show started here.
UFO Wrestling! Get used to seeing this thing! We got a big night for you tonight! Unbelievable.
Is this who I think it is?
I think we're about to find out.
If this is who I think it is, I am very excited. Oh, this is it! This is him! It is he! This is the New England legend, Bo Douglas. Bo Douglas is the reason we are all here in New England wrestling. And he has something to say to Danny, apparently, who's the host.
He did. Let's hear what he had to say. Bo Douglas interrupting me. Unbelievable. I didn't back down.
Bo, you're not supposed to be out here right now.
Buddy, you're not supposed to be out here. You think just because
You're a YouTube sensation, thinking he's Logan Paul's little brother, that he can just walk in this ring
Logan Paul's little brother.
and walk into the wrestling business. I am the champion. This is my ring. I do what I want, when I want, where I want.
But you know how this works. You've been in this business for 27 years. I didn't see you on the match card, which I thought was pretty strange considering a 27-year vet and the top dog in the company and the guy wearing the strap around his waist has no match in the biggest event in UFO history.
I do what I want.
How do you not have a match?
When I
Come on.
want.
You're the champ.
I've earned that right to do that. And that's why tonight I'm giving the show to these young bucks.
You don't have
I
any
was so
plans to
confused
defend
by
that
that, Paul.
championship tonight.
How do you not have a
guess
match?
what?
You're the champ.
No, I do. And I, by the end of the night, am going to find somebody, and you will defend that title against him.
What gives you the right to tell
He
Bo
didn't know
Douglas,
what gave me the right, but I tell him right in.
champion, what he's going to do?
27 years in the business, you should know. Not only am I the special guest host, but I've also been given the privilege to make the matches that I want. And you will be defending that championship tonight, and I will pick your opponent, and we'll get back to you on that.
I don't work for you.
Good shot of John Cena Sr. in the
Oh, that's
background.
right. We'll get to that. Hey, what's up? What? I'm on the phone.
What are we going to announce for the UFO Championship against Bo tonight? Who's going to be?
I have someone for Bo. Don't worry about it. But I got news for you.
Okay.
Bo's not going to like who it is.
No, he's not, and he did not.
I hate to interrupt here, but looking at the monitor, what's going on? Something's going on here backstage.
Is that who I think it is?
I think it most certainly
Teddy
is. It
Goods.
looks like Teddy Goods. Teddy Goods is here, folks, to face Bo Douglas for the UFO Championship in tonight's main
Yeah, and-
event. Teddy Goods going
We can
up
cut it
against
there,
Bo
and we can let
Douglas.
people
He thought he was
watch
gonna get-
Teddy Goods versus Bo Douglas for the UFO Championship last weekend at the Donnybrook in Everett. Come on, Bo. 27 years in the business, dude. You got to know when I'm the special guest host. When anybody comes in as the special guest host, they also are able to make matches, change the card, make the decision on the night of the event. And I just don't even know how you didn't have a match. So Teddy Goods, I called him. That was a good call, right, Paul? Calling Teddy
Great
Goods.
call. That was a great call.
Now you got to see how it ended because
you got to watch the rest of it.
there is some controversy, and there is some stuff now happening behind the scenes that I'm not going to give too much away. But I think that Teddy Goods has, in my personal opinion, having been the guy that kind of booked this match because I called Teddy Goods. In my opinion, I think Teddy Goods, I think we'll see him again. I think we'll see Teddy Goods versus Bo Douglas 2. I think that's going to happen. But you have to watch how this thing played out. But you mentioned John Cena Sr. Can you just pull up an image there of, John Cena Sr. shows up, John Cena's dad, and is in the audience. There he is right there. In the background. We can zoom in on him. Maybe get a shot of him centered in the middle, watching me and Bo Douglas talking to each other. If we could pull that up. Oh, there you go. We got it right there. John Cena Sr. showing up to the Donnybrook in Everett, Massachusetts. Huh? I went over and introduced myself to him.
How could you not, though?
How could I not?
Yeah.
I wish I had known he was there when I was giving the promo. I would have mentioned him. I did not know till after the fact, so I went over after I walked over and introduced myself, and he said to me, hey, nice speech in there. I said, well, it would have been better if the champ didn't interrupt me and didn't make my night a little bit more difficult than it had to be. I didn't show up thinking I was going to be calling people to fight the champ, but that's what happened, and if you want to know what happened the rest of the night, make sure you go to UFO's YouTube channel. It's linked below. But that's what we did last weekend. And now we get back to kind of the post-WrestleMania hangover. And when I think about what's going on right now in the WWE,
It's a transition period, definitely.
I think that, well, there's no Roman Reigns. The Rock is gone. And you look at where they've gone with the Bloodline storyline with Solo Sikoa and now Tama Tonga coming in from New Japan Pro. And that's good. But the key piece to it all is still Paul Heyman kind of... There's this mystery out there with Paul Heyman, and they're leaving it open-ended as to who exactly he's talking to. When he says, oh, like, this is a decision that you can't make. Only one person can make this decision. They are kind of leaving that open-ended to a point where they've made some hints. Maybe that person he's talking about is The Rock. Or maybe it's still Roman Reigns, but because Roman Reigns lost, and now, is he still the tribal chief? Because we saw The Rock the night after WrestleMania. We have not seen Roman Reigns since.
That's a good point.
So The Rock is right now kind of the last face of the bloodline that we've seen. And so you wonder who Paul Heyman is referring to when he's talking to Solo Sikoa, being like, these are decisions that you cannot make. So he's making us think, well, who's the guy making those decisions? Is it still Roman Reigns? Or is it the last face of the bloodline that we saw in The Rock when he was in the ring with Cody Rhodes the night after Mania? We talked about that scene on the last podcast where The Rock hands him something. Now, we tried to jump to some conclusions. It wasn't a lighter. The Rock didn't light his bus on fire. And it wasn't what I thought it could be, which was dice being like, see you at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Even though The Undertaker on social media, I saw a clip of The Undertaker on a podcast.
I think it's his podcast.
Is it his podcast?
Yeah.
The Undertaker's got a fucking podcast?
Yeah. With his real name, too, which infuriates me.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
He's just got to be Taker. What's his real name? Calloway, right?
Yeah, Mark Calloway. Yeah.
You know what, though? I do enjoy The Undertaker. He had his run as the dead man, right? He had his run as the American badass.
I never really wanted him to
get away from the dead man?
No, just do it. Do it for the rest of your life for me.
But anyways, he kind of spilled the beans on WrestleMania 41 being in Vegas. So it seemed when you watch that video clip. But anyways, come to find out, Cody Rhodes got in the ring a week later this past week and said that what The Rock gave him in his hand was something that Cody had gave him. Cody had gifted him years before.
Yeah.
We're going to find out what that is. But my point is, The Rock is sort of the last face of the bloodline that we've seen on WWE TV. And it makes you wonder who Paul Heyman is referring to when he's talking to Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Hey, I'll say
what
this.
What do you think? Just like off the top of your head. Like,
who do I think?
Yeah, take a shot at it right now.
The Rock.
Do you think The Rock is talking through Heyman?
I think it's going to end up because...
I think it's kind of the opposite.
I think The Rock is going to be back sooner than you think.
Okay.
There's talk of him filming a movie. Cody Rhodes there's quotes from him where he says, you know, if The Rock might come back if we're all good enough and it sparks his interest again, if we're good enough to spark his interest. That's all bullshit.
Yeah, because he might come back for SummerSlam, but he's not coming back for Backlash.
No.
Like, do you know what
SummerSlam.
I mean? Yeah.
He's going to come back for SummerSlam, I think. And I think he's going to have a match with Cody. The only reason I might question myself and step back a little bit and just play devil's advocate with myself on that thought is that I do wonder if The Rock is going to be capable of having that long one-on-one match.
Yeah.
At this stage of his career. And so in the back of my head, I still think maybe it's going to be some type of triple threat with Roman Reigns. Like, I still have, I know I keep
that's what
telling you
happen.
that.
I don't see him doing something with Cody. For some reason, I don't see him doing anything major with Cody for that exact reason. I don't think he can work a full match. And it's just going to be Cody pushing him. And that doesn't feel, I don't know if that's Cody's strong point with someone like The Rock. But the way I see it happening is the bloodline, it's splitting into two factions. Like, that's what's happening.
I agree.
And I think The Rock's going to be... I don't think The Rock's talking to Heyman right now. I think Roman still is, but that's what's getting pulled away because The Rock's talking to Solo.
Oh, that's good.
That's what I think's happening.
Oh, that's good.
So then you set up a perfect...
Or, and I think this is what I was referring to, Roman was talking to Solo and Heyman's talking to The Rock.
It could be that way, but I think Roman's going to come back with the Usos. And he's going to come back as a babyface.
See, I don't think Roman should come back as a babyface.
Yeah.
I think that would be a bad decision because Roman has been so good
I know.
as this elite heel swagger. Now, he could still have the swagger. He could
that's
still
not going
have
away
the
no
theme
matter
music.
what. Yeah. But do you think
I don't think he can go back to what he was before. I just because I don't. That's a character that just didn't work.
Yeah, but maybe it works now because of everything that's already happened.
I don't think they should.
Think about what
It's
they
too
did with
good
Cena.
still.
They killed Cena. They just drove him into the ground. His story never changed. Nothing ever changed. If they ever turned him heel, we would all look at Cena differently than we do right now. It would be
but
in a much elevated position.
Well, that's because he was. We know how it was as a heel for him to begin.
Yeah,
Kind of, right?
but I think once you establish something at the beginning, now it makes the other thing more pleasurable to try. It's.
I just think with Roman, he was always even in the Shield. Like the Shield was still.
Yeah,
I think
like the Shield.
They
Yeah.
try to make that a heel faction, but it really wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Roman's always kind of been that baby. We'll just say his singles run. He's been a baby face, and it really the character didn't work.
Yeah.
Could it be different? I just think that what they have with him now is so good. It's like, why? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
But then that means The Rock on the other side has to be the baby face. And I don't think we're
I don't
seeing
know.
that again.
I think we live in a world.
Oh, you can do. Yeah, that's
I
true.
think we live in a world where I just think it's different. I think it's so entertaining that I think you can make it work if they're both heel-ish.
Yeah.
Because even when The Rock was the final boss, he still did some promos telling the fans that he loved them. People get it. Like the curtain has been pulled back.
Yeah.
It's entertainment at this point. You're not really hiding things. But I think these characters, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm just wondering when they're going to give us Roman again or The Rock again, because if it's just Solo and Tama Tonga and Paul Heyman, I don't think that's not gonna work for very long. I don't think.
I mean, if the
up to
Usos
get involved,
it's up
I think
to Heyman, really.
It worked because of Roman. It worked again because of The Rock with Roman.
But this doesn't have to work forever either. Because if we're talking, what if this gets us to SummerSlam? Is it enough to SummerSlam?
What are we in? Mid to late April?
I think
a
it's
long time.
I think it's enough though.
SummerSlam's in August.
I think Heyman can carry that with teases the last couple of weeks of Roman and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just accepting that this is the post WrestleMania hangover and this is just how it is.
Yeah, but I think they can do a lot because I think these guys are almost like the Shield initially, where the Shield just came in and destroyed everyone, and that's what it feels like. This faction, this new Bloodline 2.0, is gonna do.
But again, it kind of brings me to my point. It wouldn't work if they didn't have that continued tease of who are they? Who's Solo talking to? Who's Paul Heyman talking to?
Yeah, of course. It can't work. Their violence can work, but no, the storyline is everything that's going on.
So you think Paul Heyman's talking to Roman?
Because I don't think
Solo's talking to The Rock.
Yeah, because I don't think Roman. No, I don't think Heyman would flip on Roman at this point. I think they're locked together.
See, my theory though is kind of back to that High Chief thing.
Yeah,
where Paul Heyman, who goes way back with the Bloodline, always has known, because Paul Heyman gives looks to The Rock. They're gonna get back to that too, by the way. They're not done with that. That was not by accident.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're not done with that. They're telling you this long-term storytelling has been just mint, right? They have nailed this.
Yeah.
And they're going to get back to The Rock when he put the 1 up and he puts the L instead, and then he shows you, and they zoomed in on it. And there were people in the comments of those videos that we did breaking it down going, look at Paul Heyman's face looking at The Rock. And Heyman was like, Heyman knows something. And that's why I'm going the other way. I think Heyman is talking to The Rock. Because now that Roman doesn't have the title, Heyman is trying to keep the Bloodline together. And he knows deep down inside, based on all his reactions, that The Rock is the High Chief. And The Rock is actually calling the shots. Again, the whole
But then that situation makes Roman the babyface.
It does.
It has to. Like
it does and it doesn't.
Because he takes everything away from him. Yeah.
In a vacuum, it does.
Yeah.
Based on how we know wrestling to be. But what I'm telling you is, I don't think the WWE has to portray Roman as a babyface. The fans can react however the fuck they want.
Yeah.
We can discuss it however we want. What I'm saying is, if Roman comes back and okay, it goes that route and he's the babyface, like fans are already chanting his name. All I'm saying is, don't change his music.
No, definitely not.
Don't let him be this. Don't let him not do the acknowledge me. Don't let him not yell back at the crowd. You better acknowledge me. That's a heel.
I think he has to be pro-family. He's like, he brings the Usos back. Like, that's the way you make him a baby.
So they can both be a heel.
Yeah.
Everyone in there can be a heel story within itself, which is so good that it ends up being the best story in wrestling still.
Yeah.
But I think Heyman knows something about the Bloodline's history and The Rock's role and his title that Roman wouldn't acknowledge. And The Rock acknowledged Roman as the tribal chief. But what we're going to come to find out is that whole L hand signal and Paul Heyman's reaction to The Rock putting it up.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman, he had the two phones, remember?
Yeah.
And one was The Rock. So they've let you know he communicates with The Rock.
That's
it wasn't
true.
Roman communicating with The Rock.
That's true.
It was
That's
Paul
a good
Heyman.
point.
And so that's what's going to happen. Roman's no longer the champ. It's now The Rock, having been most recently on TV, and he's carrying that title that he got from
I hate it.
Muhammad Ali's family.
Yeah.
And he's still the final boss. The Rock is talking to Paul Heyman, in my opinion. Roman's going to find out. That's when he gets the Usos involved.
Yeah.
And maybe Solo, it might end up being surprised. Right? This could end up just being, The Rock could come in with new. This could go anyway. But I think the main piece is definitely who's Paul Heyman talking to.
Yeah.
And then we can find out who Solo's talking to.
The key of this whole storyline is Paul Heyman.
It
really is. And there's no better person to carry this
he's
forward.
a legend, and he's doing legendary shit. And it's great. But there's no doubt, without Roman on TV, without The Rock on TV, this is still the post-WrestleMania hangover.
Yeah.
With an opponent for Cody Rhodes that... And I love AJ Styles. I don't love his new music.
I
don't understand what they're doing there.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
He's not going to win.
No,
See,
exactly.
I wish
that's the problem.
I do wish they could do something that could get you thinking.
Are they gonna do like a Bullet Club thing?
That could get you thinking that maybe Cody could lose it. Like, what could they possibly do? Like, I don't know.
I mean, do you want the Bloodline still attached to them? Because you just have Solo and Tonga just attack them and just relentlessly keep that going.
Well, I'm wondering. The thing is, again, they changed AJ Styles' character. It just seems like they're throwing him into this.
Yeah.
If they took that part of it maybe a little more seriously, you could convince people that, who knows, maybe Cody would lose. And maybe you could justify then Cody actually losing the title. Like, you want to throw a major curveball? Like, get us a match at Backlash in which Cody loses the title. And then it has a way to win it back shortly thereafter. Like in the next one.
Yeah.
Before SummerSlam. Like, why couldn't they do that? They could. Cody finished a story. The story is not Cody finishes his story and then becomes the greatest champion of all time.
Wins forever.
Yeah, we already just saw that with Roman Reigns. You could do the opposite. Cody wins the championship. Bloodline costs him the title right after. I think they should do that. I just think
Cody Cry babies will not allow that to
the way
happen.
they've treated Styles, I feel like the change of character seems...
He's been an afterthought for a while.
Yeah, the whole change of character thing just seems like unnecessary to the point where it almost feels like they're not, like the company's not taking him, even though they're putting him in this title match, it's the change of character, they're not taking him seriously.
Yeah.
Like the old AJ Styles, seriously, who I thought was
Pretty great at
Pretty
one
great.
time. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's pretty obvious that Cody's not going to lose. I wish they could do some things to not make it feel like that. But again, post WrestleMania hangover. And then what else do we got going on there?
Got one.
What other
The
storyline?
QR codes that have been popping up on the
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Is it a...
It's going to be, I think it's probably going to be Bo Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I think so, too.
Right?
Yeah.
Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe just a completely new character.
Yeah. But an homage,
I never
definitely.
understood the Uncle Howdy thing.
They didn't really get to...
They never really got
Yeah.
to get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as I think they planned on doing
Yeah.
it.
Interesting. I like when they do little creepy stuff like that, like interactive, like where you have to go and chase this link now. I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were getting back to some version of The Fiend at one point. And then, obviously, this tragic
Yeah.
situation sucks. But, you know, I think the QR codes, it definitely has something to do with Bo Dallas.
It feels like it.
I don't know what else. People are saying it was going to be the Hottie. It was going to be Jeff Hardy, Matt
yeah.
Hardy, but
Yeah. No, thanks.
he showed up in TNA.
Yeah. And then he said like he's a free agent. He can show up wherever he wants.
I mean, maybe he could. I don't know if WWE.
Do you really want to see it again? I'm not that interested in seeing it again.
I was never the Hardy. I was never a huge diehard.
Back in the day,
Fan.
I liked it when they had the feud with like the Brood or the
Yeah, that's going back.
That's weird.
That was kind of the period I feel like I was out.
Oh, okay.
I was not in.
Okay.
Like I had a period of wrestling where I was in from like WrestleMania 3 through like WrestleMania 17-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
Like around like through the Attitude Era. And then once like the Hardys, like I knew they were still around.
Yeah. I mean, they were around since like really early. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, that wouldn't do it for me, the QR codes, if that was them.
It's over for that. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be something Bo Dallas related. I'm trying to think of what else, you got that's like a major storyline in WWE. Damian Priest is the champ. I'm not sure where they're going there. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. I'm excited to see that. I don't know when. It sucks that CM Punk got hurt.
I think I read
Right away.
McIntyre's dealing with something too.
McIntyre's dealing with an elbow injury. He has a contract situation coming up too, they're saying. So I don't know where they're going with those situations. Seth Rollins, he's going to have knee surgery.
gone for a little
It's
while.
the ultimate post WrestleMania hangover. I mean, no Rollins, no Reigns.
I'm excited though. Honestly, just Heyman. Heyman alone excites me for what he's going to do in here
Yeah.
because he does his best work when he has to do his most work. So it's like he's got it's wide open, baby. Like it's.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes me think like maybe I was wrong on Brock. We're not going to see Brock for a while because
yeah.
unless they're going to mix. No, they can't. If Heyman is the middleman of this Bloodline feud,
Yeah.
you cannot bring Brock
No,
back
that makes
into
no
the mix.
sense. Yeah, that
Can't
makes
do
no
it.
sense.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. We'll react accordingly to whatever happens on this show. Hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. But there's another story that I guess we'll wrap the show up with, or we'll get into the meat of the show and then try to finish with, because there's a story that I am right now looking at this story, Paul, that we're about to talk about. And I am trying to speak this into existence.
You have been for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Couple weeks, couple months, couple years.
maybe.
I am trying to speak Tom Brady's return to the New England Patriots into existence. We got the NFL draft, this weekend, right? Coming up next weekend. We're recording this on a Sunday. A Sunday, a day after the Bruins Game 1 win over the Maple Leafs, which, by the way, I just feel so disconnected from the Bruins without
stinks.
Patrice Bergeron, without David Krejci. No Bergeron, no Krejci. This season, all season, I've felt disconnected from this team.
Yeah.
I've tried multiple times. I just feel disconnected. But the Cup,
It's different.
I love the Cup. You know I love La Coupe. I love the Stanley Cup. And the Bruins, I just think It would be blasphemous for me to sit here and go, oh, the Bruins, great shot of winning the Stanley Cup, even though they have no Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci.
Yeah.
A year after they were the best team in the league last year and then got upset in the first round by the Florida Panthers. I'm obviously rooting for them to shock me and surprise me. But man, it just feels wrong to go, oh, Bergeron's gone, and the first year that he's gone, they have a better chance to win the cup.
It makes no sense.
It's just I feel disconnected from this team.
If they do well in the first round, I bet you it's all forgiven.
Yeah. But anyways, we're not. I didn't mean to get into that. It's about Tom Brady. It's about the New England Patriots. It's about the potential return. It's about me speaking this potential fucking return into existence because it makes so much sense
for everybody,
for everyone. Tom Brady returning to the Patriots makes sense for Tom Brady. It makes sense for the New England Patriots. It makes sense for the NFL. It even makes sense for Fox Sports because they already have their play-by-play guy, the color commentator. I know that Brady's getting ready to get into the booth, but there have been a couple videos here that have been thrown out on Instagram over the last couple weeks that raise my antennas because what have we talked about on this show? I think you go back like a month and a half, 2 months ago. We really did a segment on this where we were talking about the future of the New England Patriots. Mac Jones, this was before Mac Jones even got traded to Jacksonville. And I said, Mac Jones is not the answer. Do you take a quarterback in the first round with the number 3 overall pick? Yeah, maybe. Or do you take someone like Marvin Harrison Jr. and go out and get a veteran quarterback? We had mentioned Kirk Cousins at the time. Cousins signed with Atlanta. We mentioned maybe a Russell Wilson situation. Wilson has been traded. Like, he's with another team. And so we were thinking, and I'm going, Tom Brady, do you think he's still working out? And this was like 2 months ago. Do you think he's still working out? And we both agreed, of course, Tom Brady's still working out. And I asked the question, do you think when Tom Brady works out, he's throwing the football? Like, is he running around? Like, does he have receivers in his backyard? Or is he somewhere in a football field in California, slinging it? And I think we both agreed, like, yeah, he probably is.
Yeah, how could you not believe that?
Right?
Yeah.
And so you put it all together and you go, all right, Patriots, it would make sense to bring in a veteran quarterback, even if they did draft a quarterback number 3 overall.
It's almost perfect if they do draft a quarterback and give a veteran a year just to sit there at the helm.
Because there's a clear benefit. We've seen it. Yeah. I mean, look at Jordan Love. Look at Aaron Rodgers. There's a clear benefit to sitting on the bench behind an elite quarterback and learning from him for a year or two.
Yeah.
That is not going to hurt. The only way that hurts is if the rookie quarterback or the quarterback in his second year who's on the bench is a prima donna asshole. Yeah. That's the only way it doesn't work.
Or if the veteran ends up sticking around for 5 years instead of 2 years. If it's a 2-year thing, it's a perfect situation.
It is. And I just think now it's a perfect situation with what the Patriots need, with what they could do at the draft, and with now what Tom Brady is not just doing, but even talking about. So we're going to play 2 clips for you right here. Tom Brady did a podcast while he's getting a haircut. And the host of the show and the dude who's cutting his hair, he asked him about what if a team gives you a call? And he mentions, they start talking about Patriots.
Yeah, he said the Patriots.
He said the Patriots. Here's the clip from Tom Brady.
Let's say one day there's a situation, right? Maybe it's the 49ers, maybe, heading to the playoffs. Offense is great.
Patriots, somebody, Raiders,
look,
could be, you never know.
God forbid somebody goes down. Would you pick up that phone?
I'm not opposed to it. If they would, I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner in the NFL team, but I don't know if, I don't know. I'm always going to be in good shape, always be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit, like MJ coming back, I don't know if they let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
All right, so that should be all you really need to see, Paul, to know that this something to this conversation right now. We're not just throwing shit against the wall and hoping that it sticks. Like, Tom Brady, this has crossed his mind. If it hadn't, and he was completely dead set on he's retired, he's going into the booth with Fox next year, never wants to play again, certainly never wants to play for the Patriots again, that clip would not exist. Because the clip that would exist would be Brady being asked about it going, nah, man, I'm done. That ain't happening.
Exactly.
Like, that's an easy answer. But it's not an easy answer to him. Why? Because deep down inside, he knows he still has something left in the tank. How do I know that? Because of that answer, but also because he posted this clip shortly after that on his Instagram of him not just working out, but seemingly looking like an absolute beast while he's working out. Here's Tom Brady doing a little sprint. So what do we think now, Paul? I mean, we don't have that clip of him throwing the football, though. There was another clip like a month ago where he maybe, I think I saw him throw, I think it was a commercial, though, right? He's throwing the football. I don't know if it was as like personal as that clip or as these two clips, but look, Tom Brady is in great shape. Tom Brady is not ruling out a return to the Patriots when he's asked about it. Tom Brady is 100% throwing the football, and I continue to try to speak this into existence. And every time I do, we end up seeing another clip that proves we might actually be closer to that being spoken into existence. Tom Brady needs to return to the New England Patriots, if not for one more season, maybe two. And I am dead serious with this right now. People can call me crazy. They can say it's a pipe dream. They can say you're just living in a, you got to let it go, Danny. You got to cut him loose. You got to cut Tom Brady loose. You got to say goodbye. Cherish the memories all you want. Cherish the Super Bowls. But you got to let it go, Danny. Tom Brady isn't walking through that door. And every time they try to tell me that, Tom Brady leaks something out that makes me think he might walk back through that door. And if you're Robert Kraft right now, like, what's the move? Because they had this June 12th? Yeah, 6/12. They are having this event at Gillette Stadium. I think tickets are already being sold. They're going to sell that place out. That might be the loudest Gillette Stadium maybe ever been. And it's Tom Brady Day or Tom Brady night. I don't know if it's in the day, at night. I don't know. And they're saying, rain or shine, be there. We are celebrating Tom Brady. I think they should postpone that because Robert Kraft is currently getting crushed. Yeah. Because there's a story that's out there in which
he doesn't look too great.
On the heels of that whole Dynasty series on Apple TV, where it clearly looks like that's a Robert Kraft
/ NFL production, not Patriot.
Robert Kraft NFL production hit piece on Bill Belichick. There's a story that's out there that Bill Belichick didn't get the Atlanta Falcons job because Robert Kraft was calling people, telling them, don't hire Bill Belichick. He can't
be trusted.
He can't be trusted. He's doing things on its own. Did that really happen? I don't know. But I tell you what, if I didn't see all the stuff going on with that Dynasty piece on Apple TV, I wouldn't believe it. But that stuff is there. Like,
that's real.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like, Robert Kraft had something to do with that, right? With that Dynasty series?
Yeah.
And that Dynasty series kind of makes Bill Belichick look like, does it make him look like an asshole? Or put it this way, it doesn't make him look like the greatest coach of all time that we know him as.
No, it makes him look like the problem constantly, over and over again.
And so, like, there might be something to, maybe it's not as like
Yeah, it might not be as
It might not be
salacious.
like, oh, you can't trust him. Somebody might have used those words after talking to Belichick, but perhaps after talking to Kraft, but perhaps the way Kraft spoke about Belichick made them think like, oh, we can't trust Belichick. Look how Kraft's talking about him.
Yeah.
And then that's told to a reporter. It's the game of telephone.
No, exactly. I think that's more likely. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's not something to Kraft calling people, being like, be careful. You know?
You know what he did
Maybe Kraft isn't even making the call. Maybe they're calling Kraft.
I think you're exactly right, but that it still gives him the chance to leak his personal vendetta a little bit too.
Well, you know, we had some situations with Bill.
Yeah.
And, you know, he didn't want Mac. I wanted Mac. And then he benched Mac. And, you know, Bill's gonna be Bill.
I mean, they're going
something like that. And the Falcons could go, hey, guys, doesn't sound like Robert Kraft trusted Bill Belichick.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart man.
And then they go to a reporter for ESPN, and ESPN's like, whoa.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
they
exactly
get their
what
rocks
happened.
off with this Bill Belichick hit piece, and it turns into something. Maybe it's not, but that doesn't mean there's not something there. Either way, Robert Kraft is getting, he looks terrible right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Looks terrible. You get rid of Bill Belichick. Then there's a story out there that you're calling teams preventing him from getting another job because you don't trust him. You have this dynasty series that doesn't make Belichick look good. And what's the one thing you could do right now to kind of flip that bad PR on its head?
Bring your other son home.
Bring Tom Brady home. If Robert Kraft, I know we call him, he's a great businessman, and
he is, yeah.
And it is what it is.
Created football in this area.
But there's one
almost.
call that he needs to make, and it's to Tom Brady. You're not preventing your draft. You're not changing your draft
anything.
plans.
Yep.
You're not. I mean, the one thing you'd be changing is that June 12th date that you have at Gillette Stadium. But
maybe
come on,
that's when you announce that he's coming back.
everybody that has a ticket in that stadium would gladly go. Sorry, put it this way: if you have a ticket to that June 12th, what is it? Are they gonna? What are they even doing? Like, what are we? I don't even know. Is he throwing a pass?
I have no idea.
Statue?
Yeah.
Retiring the number?
No idea.
Whatever that event is, if you have a ticket to that event on June 12th, and you would be upset that gets canceled because Brady's coming back to play another season, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And I want you fucking deported. Like, I want you sent to another state. You are no longer allowed in Massachusetts.
You get to Rhode Island.
Like, no, forget that. You can't stay in New England either. You are out. You are a loser. If you're sitting there going, no, I have this ticket to Tom Brady Day in June. How dare he come back?
Yeah.
You don't deserve that fucking ticket. Don't worry about that event. If that event is the only thing preventing you from bringing Tom Brady back, you better fucking bring Tom Brady back.
Yeah. That wouldn't stop them. That event.
I hope Robert Kraft is making that call.
Yeah.
I hope.
I mean, he's delinquent to his duty if he's not making that call at least once a month and to say, hey, Tom, what about this month? What do you think now, Tom?
I mean, after seeing, forget about the workout video, the podcast in the barbershop.
Where he mentioned the Patriots.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you need.
He spoke the words.
It's like, all right, fine. You know what? We'll draft Marvin Harrison Jr., number 3 overall.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll draft Bo Nix in the 2nd round.
Imagine this scenario, though. Brady does walk through that door. Belichick finds his way back in a head coaching position in the same season. Somewhere else, obviously.
But here's why I also think, and maybe we're burying the lead, when it comes to why this would be intriguing for Tom Brady to do this. It's not just that he obviously has a passion and he feels like he can play, and obviously he's a Patriot for life. But now that Belichick's gone, you know, Brady, these guys are checking off the boxes, right? Tom Brady right now, greatest, quote, win a Super Bowl, win 2 Super Bowls, win 3 Super Bowls, win 6 Super Bowls with the same team, go to a different team, win another Super Bowl. and basically prove that, not
Almost
to me and
proved.
you, but
Yeah.
like the competition between him and Belichick, he's got one up on Belichick.
So he's only not done one thing.
What's the next thing on that list, possibly?
Yeah.
Win another Super Bowl with the Patriots without Belichick.
Yeah.
Like is that on that checklist? Because if it is, and you got to think that it has, now that Belichick's gone, that might be something new on the checklist, and that might be going through Brady's head.
I want Mayo calling him. I want everyone calling him. Say, Tom, give us one.
Even
more,
if
Tom.
you took Jaden Daniels at 3. Now, we've expressed this. I've expressed this. I want Jaden Daniels over Drake May.
Okay.
So I hope that Drake May goes 2 overall. But I think that, I don't know. I have this weird feeling that Daniels is going to go 2. Either way, you could still take the quarterback and have him sit behind Brady for a year or 2.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Brady, if Adam Schefter tweets out at any moment, if he tweets out at any moment that Tom Brady's returning to the Patriots, the Patriots are going to become this. They're going to have the second best odds to come out of the AFC behind Kansas City. Do you know that?
They definitely
that's what's going to happen. And it's not going to be the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be the Chiefs and the Patriots. And
in the NFL wants it. The publicity.
I mean, obviously you have Buffalo and Cincinnati, but I just think that. I obviously want it to happen. People can say I'm dreaming, but when Brady's talking about it, and then shortly after that posting videos like that of him working out, and you know the situation the Patriots are in,
it's not as much of a crapshoot anymore.
if Belichick was still here, I don't even think we'd be talking about it, right? Like, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But because Belichick's gone, and if there was that little rift between those two guys, and I don't even want to say rift because I think they both respect each other to a point where they acknowledge how good each one was for the other when they were together. But there's no doubt it got to a point where,
just doesn't work.
Brady, it just didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And so if Belichick was still here, I don't think we'd be even bringing this up. But because Belichick's gone, and because the Patriots are about to draft a quarterback that may or may not be ready out of the gate.
Yeah.
And now Robert Kraft needs to kind of save face in the PR battle. And Brady might have this new thing on his checklist of win with the Patriots without Belichick, because then you win when you win with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you win somewhere else without him, and then you come back and you win without him. Like, Brady's a competitor, man. Don't even tell me he's not thinking about that. He is. He fucking is.
Couple of years of hail in your body too. Like he's ready.
So this, I wasn't going to say this, but I'll tell you, just speaking it into existence. I messaged Tom Brady on Instagram the other day. And I said, if you're returning, what's up, T? If you're returning to the Pats next year, tell me first. Let me break the news. Come on the podcast. I think I even threw in there like Broadway Golf Club will be open in Celtic. Come down, play 18 at Pebble Beach, and break the news there. We'll have the video rolling. But I'm sending this to you. I said at the end, I'm sending this to you right now, speaking this into existence. So
it'd be amazing if some way
if he gets that and he breaks it on this show, stay tuned, baby. We are going to break the Tom Brady return on this show. Crazy things have happened. Crazier people have responded to me about crazier things on emails and social media.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think it's possible. It's not just a dream. I do think it is possible. Like, when would he have to tell people this is happening in order for them to implement him into...
That's a good point. I have no idea. That's
like, what's the date? If you're an organization, like, what's that date where you need to find this out?
Yeah. I don't think it's before the draft. I really don't think it's before the draft, because I don't think, like you said, you still should take the best quarterback you can, no matter what. Because just by Brady coming here, people are going to flock around. The whole team will be built differently just because that. It sets Mayo up, and it also rehabs Kraft's image, which he needs it. Because I'm kind of sick of the friggin' Patriots right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not moving the needle in town. I mean, I'll be interested to see what they do with the draft next weekend.
Oh, of course, yeah. I want to see if they do anything markedly different than Belichick would have done. Because every move they've done so far, they've re-upped people, Belichick guys. Like I think like the media was so down on Belichick that they're almost saying that everything, even though with no changes, they're saying everything that's going on is good. But I still think it's all the same Belichick decisions. I haven't really noticed a difference.
No. And if they take an offensive tackle at number 3 overall, I'm going to throw something through my TV.
Because then you'll
know,
really know. Yeah.
Oh wow, you really didn't do anything different. They can't do that. I've had some people say to me, "Oh, they should really beef up the offensive line." I'm like, "Well, with what quarterback?" Like,
yeah, what's
the only way I can justify not taking a quarterback at 3 overall is if you're bringing in that veteran like a Brady to throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not, you're not taking any other position at 3 overall.
Yeah. It's
a quarterback, or if you feel like you're in communication with Brady and he's like, hey, I might be able to play 2 or 3 more years if you get Marvin Harrison Jr. Then you take a quarterback in the 2nd round and you have him learn behind Brady for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The fact that we're even talking about this and it's potentially realistic, it gives me goosebumps. Okay? And it really just improves the quality of life around here. to have that be a possibility, to have that in the air. And I hope they don't slam the door on that. Tom, come back and let's break it on this show. Let's break the news on this show. Let's do it. So, that's what we got. What else? We got playoffs. We'll pay attention to that. We'll react accordingly. Celtics are on today. We'll watch that. It's going to come down to Tatum.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Tatum the young king and really get to that next level? We'll see. I mean, they're playing Miami in the first round. Jimmy Butler is hurt. So, I mean, they should get out of the first round, no doubt. They should get to the finals, right?
Yeah. Anything short of that, they're the team this year. They're the team.
Yeah, and you know what? Porzingis seems healthy, knock on wood.
And he's such a good fit with this team.
I just didn't think he would be healthy. I mean, the history of him is that he's not going to be healthy, and you'd be sitting here going, wow, we could have kept Marcus Smart. Oh, wow, we could have got Damian Lillard. That's all that was, but obviously people take stuff out of context. And
I also think sometimes guys like that get healthy when the opportunity is right. I think Garnett got really healthy for that 1 year.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx. You know what? I shouldn't have brought it up. We're jinxing it. I'm going to knock on wood.
No, but they get more than that. Derek White's great. Like they're stacked, man.
Yeah, it's gonna you need your number one superstar needs to be your number one superstar.
Yeah.
In the biggest moments throughout the entire playoffs for you to win in the NBA.
Yeah. And Brown can't disappear.
That guy is, and I know Jaylen Brown's Jaylen Brown, but that guy, the young king, is Jason Tatum. And if the Celtics win a championship, we're going to be sitting here going, Jason Tatum, MVP, and the guy whose number is going to be up in the rafters with everybody else's.
Yeah.
Right?
This is when he becomes.
This is it.
This is when he becomes that.
This
guy.
is it.
Yeah,
this is right now.
I'm excited too.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll react as it does. And then baseball, real quick. I won't bore you with it. I think they need to go to 100 games. Yeah. They're at 162 games. They need to go. They need to say to themselves, the history books, let's start a new era. Let's start a new history book.
Yeah.
We're not even letting the guys with the league leaders get into the Hall of Fame. So let's close that chapter and start a new one and go from 162 to 100 games. Spring training should be going on right now. Opening day should be May 1st, and the end of the season should be Labor Day weekend.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
You do 4 months of the regular season. That's what the NFL does. I think NHL and NBA is too long.
I completely agree because I'm geared up for the NHL and the NBA right now. This whole season, there's just too much. There's too much of everything. They've devalued the regular season, if that makes sense. Like the playoffs it's the league. That's the actual league.
I get into NBA, NHL around the holidays. I dip off for a little bit. I get back into it like February, March, and then there's still like towards the very end of the regular season that you dip off again. It's just so long. It's like the ebbs and flows of the season. I think the NHL and the NBA should begin around the holidays.
Yeah. Be perfect.
But baseball, May 1st, not April 1st, May 1st, and the season shouldn't end October 1st. It should end August 30th, or Labor Day weekend, first week of September. And that's 4-month season. 100 games. You could say, oh, what about the history books? Start a new history book.
Yeah,
all the guys that have made history in your league, they're not even letting those guys in the Hall of Fame. So, like, what does the history book previously what does it really mean to you if you're not letting Clemens and Bonds and A-Rod and Manny Ramirez into the fucking Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean shit to you anymore. So start a new era. And that's like, that's how you promote it. That's marketing.
Yeah, the new era. Exactly.
The new era.
They need that.
A new game.
It started with the pitch clock. We're evolving more. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
No one hates baseball. People just, it's too friggin' much.
Yeah, it's too long. I mean, you got to keep it 9 innings, I think.
Oh, of course that. Yeah. But the pitch clock has fixed that.
I mean, I don't like the pitch clock, but
I'm fine with it. I thought I was gonna hate it. I'm perfectly fine with it.
But I think you shorten the season, and then you see where you go. A new era in Major League Baseball. All right, wrapping it up. Hit that subscribe button. Follow on social media. We will keep paying attention to WWE. We'll pay attention to the playoffs, and we'll be back here soon enough with another show. Again, make sure you follow UFO Wrestling as well on YouTube and on social media, because we'll have some news as to what's going to happen with the Bo Douglas, Teddy Good situation. Could get out of control. I don't know, but until then, we'll talk to you. See you.